Hi everyone, this is Miss Collins, Miss Tut Like It Is 40 to T. Yes, 40 to T, that's me. So I'm sure following my most recent video, you're expecting an update. So that's what I'm here to give you. Now, if you are new to my channel, thank you for tuning in. If you are my long-standing subscribers, thank you for tuning in. Welcome back. Good to see you. So, um, And for my new subscribers, thank you for subscribing also. Let me not fall short of thanking you for being a part of my journey. Um, Being the type of person that I am, for my long-standing subscribers, for those who know me, you know that in regards to anything that my hand touch, any place that I go, anything that I involve myself into, I do the research, I do the math. So, in regards to this NYC Housing Connect lottery, I did the math. And I didn't take my subscribers with me, which I normally do, because in any viewing of an apartment or so forth and so on, I normally take my subscribers with me. And unfortunately, I kind of put the cart before the horse with this one because I was like, oh, this is not NYCHA. No, it's not. No, no, that's not NYCHA. Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. And exactly, it's not NYCHA. It's not NYCHA. It's not HUD. It's HPD. It's a whole different can of worms. It's a whole different ball game. For these entities, for these developments to classify themselves as extremely low to low income housing, I think is pretty much of an insult. Because it's like, um, maybe for some, yeah, but for maybe for the minority, it's not, but for the majority, it is. Okay, it's private. To me, it's private low income. Okay, it's not public low income. To me, it's private. And the reason why I say that is because when I went to this lease signing, okay, oh, I have such a headache. When I went to the lease signing, I brought a whole bunch of questions with me. And I was like, the answers that I got in regards to those questions was like, excuse me? Say what now? Okay. Now, you've guys seen the video that I posted. You've seen the layout of that particular unit. You saw the appliances in that particular unit. You saw the different here and there with that unit pertaining to the meter on the toilet when I was showing the toilet, the meter that they had on the toilet, the little switch that they had in one of the bedrooms. You saw the central air units, the central air devices that they had in each room, so forth and so on. You saw the security, that was all well and dandy, that was all fine and dandy. You saw the door structure in terms of the locks and so forth and so on. You saw the range over the stove, you saw the electrical stove. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so when I went to the lease signing today, which is November 24th, 2021, I asked a few questions. Okay, I said to the person who was prepared to take my 1 month rent, 1 month security, let's get into it. I asked her, I said, are tenants allowed to put locks on their doors? Now, she said to me, with the standard lock that's already there, slide bolt or whatever the case may be, that's already there. I said, are residents allowed to put locks on their doors in addition to what's already there? She said no. So I said, so the superintendent, the manager, has full access to the resident's apartment, whether they are home or not. She said, in the event that there's an emergency, the on-site, because there's an on-site person there, an on-site manager or supervisor or whatever, he's there. And she said that he has to alert the resident when he needs access to their apartment. So I'm thinking like, strike one. How you want to tell me that this one individual who lives on the premises, who has the master key for every single apartment, you're going to tell me that I can't put another lock on my door to secure my safety? That's not happening. Bonk one. Okay. Two, um, I said the switch on the wall in the room that no one is allowed to touch. What is that about? So she goes into her phone. Okay, let me see. So she says that switch has to do with the central air. It has to do with being able to control the central air or something to that nature, whatever. Nevertheless, she said it has to do with that central air device, something or another. So I'm thinking, okay, keep that in mind. That switch, residents, the tenant in that apartment, they're not allowed to touch that switch. Keep that in mind because it's associated with the central air or something or another, right? Okay. Remember what I just said about that. Okay, now, meter on the toilet. So I said, I live in the New York City Housing Authority. NYCHA does not put a meter on residents' toilets. They don't put meters on nothing. So she says, a meter on your toilet? I was like, excuse me. She said, yes. She was like, oh, 1 second. Look at her phone. Oh, that's because, these are buildings are economy. They are to energy efficient. They are energy efficient apartments. So we like to monitor and maintain the energy efficiency or so forth and so on. I said, so that's why you put the meter on the toilet? She said, yes, it's to control the water or something with. I was like, that's pretty intrusive. That's invasive to me and intrusive. Okay? Moving right along. So you're probably saying, you're just so damn fickle. Yup. I'm just as fickle as a pickle. You got it. Because I'm like, hey, you go into these different places and because you see glamour and the glitter and you think it's a bed of roses, hell no, not everything that glitters is gold. Oh no, 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 no. You talking to Miss Collins right here. This one right here. And I've been told by many the judges that I took HP actions against with NYCHA, those judge and those attorneys, they were like, Miss Collins, you need to go look into, law enforcement. You need to take up law classes because it's like it's in you. You just have the knack. It's just in you. Anyway, that's a whole different video. Let me keep it pushing with this one. NYC Housing Connect because you're not connecting to everyone. You're not connecting. So then let me get my thing back on here. So then I said, let's see. I said the tenant has to pay electricity. The stove in the apartment is electric. The central air is electric. Is that all included into the Con Ed bill? Now remember what I said earlier about that little switch, right? She said, well, the tenant pays for electricity, yes, which means the stove, which means the range, which means every other electricity except for the central air. I said, but the central air works off of electricity too, because you have to use a switch, right? She said, yes, but that's a separate bill. Excuse me? She said, yes, that's a separate bill. I said, so when I pay my Con Edison bill, I'm not paying for this. The central air is a different bill. She said, yes. Understand what I just said. You're going to pay your rent. You're going to pay your cable bill. You're going to pay your light bill, which includes the stove and that range and everything else. But when it comes down to that central air, whatever, you're getting a different bill from somebody else. So you got that somebody else who you're going to be paying funds to in regards to your central air. Then you got Con Ed that you're going to be paying for, where that's electric stove or whatever comes into play. Then you got your rent. Then you got your cable. And then you got your phone bill. And if you got a car, you got that too. So I'm like, how come this central air and the light bill is not combined? No, it's not combined. I said, so who is this entity that I'm paying in regards to the central air? Who are these people? Who is this? So she goes into my folder. She takes out this form and she says, this is who you'll be paying your central air to. So that's Jacob back there. So I'm like, are you serious right now? So she's like, so I said, okay, moving right along. So I asked her, I said, my rent, I said, my apartment has a gas stove. Hang on a second. My apartment has a gas stove. I pay electric, but I do not pay hot water, heat, hot water, or gas. And my rent is income based, which there, whether high or low, it's calculated 30% of my income. Okay, when you live in the New York City Housing Authority, your rent is calculated based on your income. So it's income based. So it's your rent is calculated according to your income. So if your income is high, your rent will be calculated 30% of that income that you currently have, that you submit. Now, if you should lose your job because of coronavirus pandemic or monsoon or London bridges falling or whatever apocalypse, New York City Housing Authority, to my understanding, takes your current income that you have, whatever source it comes from, and they calculate your rent accordingly. These people do not. NYC Housing Connect does not. So I said, you don't calculate the tenant's rent based upon their income? She said, no. So I said, does the income go up every year? She said, yes. I said, okay, that makes sense. But then what should happen if someone should have some type of financial hardship? They still have to pay the rent. They still have to pay the rent and it still goes up. She said, yes. These developments are classified as extremely low or low income housing. No. Oh, no. So I'm thinking, I'm getting a headache right here. This eye was damaged because of the mold, mildew, and asbestos. Yeah, it was. So I'm just gonna let y'all guys know that. Please don't judge me. So I'm thinking, what did you just say to me, miss? So I said, let's just say my son is on my lease. His name is on my lease. So with that being said, with my son's name being on my lease, let's just say I got knocked out because of whatever the case may be. I got sick or whatever. What's going to happen to him? He has to pay your rent. He has to pay all of those bills that I just mentioned. She said, yes. I said, so if he gets the job working in Foot Locker or something like that, you don't adjust the rent according to his income? No. So if he can't pay the rent, you evict him? Yes, he has to. I was like, really? So I said, okay, moving right along. So then I said, does this building allow tenants to put Ring doorbell devices on their front door? She said, no. Do you allow mats in front of the door? No. Okay. I said, what if a tenant decides that, they want a little cat or a little dog? They have to pay $150. $150? She said, well, they have to pay a fee for the dog or for the cat. They have to notify management. They have to pay a fee for the dog or for the cat or so forth and so on. So I said, okay. I told her my son is a staff sergeant in the Air Force. My son right here. He's been in the Air Force since he was 19, about 19, 20 years old. So, sorry for that noise out there. I said, why did HPD ask me to have him, a staff sergeant, ask me to have him send them his lease proving that he does not live with me and will not be living with me. Oh, that's just the process. Did it cause me to trigger? Of course it did. So, one, you won't let me put another lock on my door to protect me from the on-site. Well, I don't know who he is, Joe Schmo, whatever, whatever. No, okay. Two, you put a meter on the to toilet. Three, you're telling me that my central air and my Con bill is two separate bills. Four, you're telling me that you don't count, it's not 30% of the income. Your rent continuously goes up. It doesn't come down based upon your income. Whatever the case is, I don't care what you are in the hospital, sick, whatever you're getting, you're going to still have to be paying whatever rent that is. Then I said, okay. Then I asked her another question. I said, do you get NYCHA residents that comes in here? She said, we don't operate like NYCHA. We operate we operate different than NYCHA and HUD. We're HPD. We don't operate the same way that they operate. They will, calculate your rent according to your income or work with you, whatever the case may be. But our income is standard. We're standard. We are low income housing. We are not income based. So I said, okay, do you get NYCHA residents that's coming here? So she goes, 1%. So I looked at her with my mask on, and I'm like, she laughed. So she said, oh, we only have like 1%. 1% of NYCHA tenants or whatever that comes, that, applies for these lotteries or whatever. I said, 1%? She said, yes. So I said to her, within that 1%, those NYCHA residents that come to you and ask questions like I just did, do they sign that lease? She said, no. I said, the NYCHA residents that come to you with all these questions, just like I do, ready to sign that lease, ready to get those keys or whatever, to give you the money, after asking you all these questions, do they sign that lease? She said, no. I said, so the ones that don't ask you any questions, they are the ones that signed the lease. She said, yes. She said, we don't get that much NYCHA residents that come here. We don't get many NYCHA residents that apply to this. I said, wait, hold on, hold the front door. I said, you don't get a lot of NYCHA residents that apply for this? She said, no. I said, wow. So there's just a few of us. Oh, God, I had such a headache right here. So what also upset me was, number one, you triggered me because you asked me to give you information about my son, who's military, who I haven't seen since Jacob was 5 years old. His business has no business of HPD, anybody else. That's not your business, because his lease has personal information. It contains personal information. Secondly, you're telling me that if I got knocked out by corona and I was living in one of these developments, in these buildings, and my son said, okay, let me go get a job at Foot Locker or Jimmy Jazz or something like that, you will force him to pay this whatever rent. You won't work with him. You won't do anything, and you'll kick him out. Then you're going to tell me that I can't put an additional lock on my door to protect me and my child from whoever could come in the wee hours of the night, or if I'm out, we're not here, or we're out of our apartment, anybody could just walk in free willy-nilly? I don't think so. I don't think so. Then you put a damn meter on the toilet. Like, what else you gonna do? Like, what else? So I'm thinking, this is one of those developments. This is one of those buildings. Okay, it hurts me because it hurts my son, because he was looking forward to that. But your girl is, trust me, I'm grinding. I'm not going to stop grinding. Y'all see me, I'm a bulldog. I'm a grind. I'm an alpha female. I'm going to grind. So I'm like, so when I said, nope, this is not nitrogen. No, it's not. It's not nitrogen. So you probably saying, well, why didn't you take it? Because if I'm going to be doing all of that and I qualify for HPD or all of that, then this one needs to go look for a condominium or condo or something like that, or a first-time homeowner. I need to go and find out whatever grant I qualify for. I'm going to go and do the hunt, because there got to be something for single parents, who's trying to buy. I'm sure NYCHA has some type of program. I don't care if it's Habitat to Humanities or whatever the case may be. I'm sure they got something, and this one going to find it, because I'm thinking, what in the world? So it led me to do the math. It led me to start thinking like, okay, wait a minute. My apartment, this apartment right here, this apartment was gutted out to the bare walls. Gut. Okay? 3 lawsuits against New York City Housing Authority. Okay? 2 law firms from high profile lawyers. High profile lawyers came to my case. Okay? 250 Broadway, 93rd Street came in. Okay? I sat at the round table with my elected officials, and they seen everything. They spoke with all my lawyers. Healthy Homes, they spoke with elected officials. My lawyers spoke with elected officials. My Healthy Homes, it was a mess. Did I win my legal cases? Of course. I represented myself in the last 2. 4 contempts held against the New York City Housing Authority, of which I withdrew. I pulled back those contempts without prejudice, which means I can put my case back on the table. So New York City Housing Authority said, we got to get her out of it. Lord have mercy. Too many balls was dropped with this lady. And I'm not like the majority of the residents in these developments. I am totally different. But how are you different? Because I grind, and I go to my elected officials, and I sit inside that courtroom for 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, drinking coffee until I'm delirious. Okay, from 2003 to 2019, 18, in the hospital with pneumonia in my lungs. My son in the hospital with pneumonia in his lungs at the age of 5, almost died. Sleep apnea, all stuff all patched all over his face. Only those who are familiar with me, only those who are in tuned to my channel, has been watching my videos, who's seen me, who's seen what me and my child went through, because I take you guys with me. I take you with me. I don't leave you. They seen. Oh God. I have such a pain. It's like the pressure. They've seen what I've been through. They've all seen what I've been through. So now when I bump heads with this NYC Housing Connect, I'm thinking it's a step above NYCHA. I'm thinking that they are a step above NYCHA. This is a step above NYCHA. This is going to be just like NYCHA, but better. No. Nope. Jacob was with me. He came with me. This is a long video. I got to go. But don't be deceived. Everything that glitters is not gold. Now, let's just be clear. I advocate for a lot of residents in this development, in this community. Okay, me and the TA president, we go from apartment to apartment, and we make sure that the residents are taken care of to the best of our ability. Yes, we do. We go in. I go in a little harder because of the simple fact that I'm a bit younger. So we both go in, but I go in a bit harder. Okay. I go on my Facebook channel, which I am the moderator. I am the creator, and I am the advocate. I don't play when it comes down to quality of life, when it comes down to safe, clean, and connected. I fight for my residents, my tenants out there, my NYCHA neighbors. I fight for them. Okay, good, bad, and the ugly. Yes, I